Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me fresh in the new year in 2025, Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Hello, Ben. How are you?
Wonderful. How was your breaky break? Did you have a nice time?
Amazing. Can't believe it's ending. Fantastic. Beautiful. But, glad to be back talking about the Bravs. How about you? What's your 2025? What are you going to do? What's your goal?
Well, my goal is to be as healthy as possible while we go on tour. And I know that sounds like I'm actually just finding a way to promote our tour, but it's actually it's a big concern. I'm really trying to be healthy over the next 4 months. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to, we had a really fun bonus episode, by the way. I will show this, that on Patreon, right before we left for break, we did a bonus episode where we talked about what we want to happen in the new year. And we looked back on the past year. It was actually a really lovely episode. So please go and listen to that. That's at patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. And this is also video. See, I am automatically shilling no matter what. But this is also Crappens on Demand. You should come watch it as well. And the truth is we are going on tour and the tickets are at watchwhatcrappens.com. To that end, by the way, the Crappies, now we are officially less than a month away from the Crappies, which is scary as fuck. But guess what? The first round voting is going to open up on Monday. So this is your warning, your alert. Be ready. Voting for round one will be on Monday. We'll have the link up on our social media. We'll have it on our website, all that good stuff. We're currently compiling the categories. We thank you for everyone who submitted nominations and ideas and suggestions. It's so fun to go through it, go through memory lane. I can't wait to have a final ballot, but really looking forward to that. So that's that. And what about you, Ronnie? What is your goal for 2025?
To stay hot.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Let's party. Below deck sailing. Dun, 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 dun. Monsters. It was really nice to start the new year. Well, actually, this episode came on before the new year started, technically, but we're not recapping it till the new year. But it's our first recap of the new year. And Bueller's here. Hi, Bueller. Welcome.
Hi, Bueller. Look, you just hopped
recap of the new year, Bueller. Wow.
Bueller's first appearance of 2025. By the way, I just want to also mention to people while Bueller is here that Ronnie was very lovely.
Or what? Now you're leaving? Well, he didn't like all the attention. He was like, I'm out of here.
I just want to say I did get to finally see Ronnie's renovated home, and it is gorgeous and beautiful. And congratulations, Ronnie, on
Thank you, Ben.
A labor of love. It is stunning. You have such an eye. And if you are to flip a house ever, please, whoever's listening, I know there are people that are listening, give this man a TV show because Ronnie did a great job and he deserves his own HGTV show. I will be the Jax to your Brittany on this one. I am going to shill for an HGTV show for you because it was beautiful. The choices for furniture, the color palette, the materials. You just did a wonderful job, Ronnie. I'm really proud of you.
Ben, thank you so much.
Yeah, no,
thank
it's great.
What a lovely Christmas, huh? We had a Christmas party over there. It was just so nice. Oh, God, I had so much fun. Okay, memories.
Good.
Okay.
Memories.
Anyway,
that was
what were we talking about? First thing of the new year. Okay, so it was good to be, the first show back of the new year was Below Deck, and to have monster guests. Just felt so good. Just to have unpleasable people, just jackass people who acted like they're the fanciest people in the world, but obviously don't know what they're fucking talking about, which was great. Like complaining about the taste of an Aperol Spritz as if they could do anything about that. It's literally Aperol. There's
everything is.
It's not up to much interpretation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did I
just ignorant, stupid, fucking awful, nasty people? And it was nice, because I feel like sometimes people try and fake it for this show, and it's nice to just have shitty people. Sometimes normally I hate it, but sometimes I like when shitty people are like, well, we're shitty, and that's just the way it is. And we like being shitty, and we're going to stay shitty. So stay shitty, shitty people. What a great start to the new year.
But there's always this element of dissatisfaction I have across all Below Deck shows, which is that when you do have shitty guests on the boat, and then the show airs, and then the show always roasts them because the crew roasts them, the internet roasts them, And like I always want to like I want them to be accountable, or I want to like put a microphone in their face and be like, how do you answer for this? Now that you've seen it, what do you say? And we never get that with the guests. They just go back off to obscurity unless they're like Jill Zarin. But I want these people to say like, oh wow. Yeah, we saw ourselves on screen and we were terrible. Like I want to know what they thought seeing themselves.
Well, I've often followed up with people on the show where I go on Instagram, I find their accounts because I love to read America just reading these people for filth, you know? And they do. Like that Bobby Rose, or what was that chick? Not Bobby Rose. I love her.
Erica Rose and her
Erica Rose
Bobby.
and her horrid mother. Yeah. Those awful monster trash people. They were read for filth, and I loved reading that. And of course, it was all editing's fault, and it was all the staff's fault. So that's the big spoiler: is that it's still never their fault. You know, it's always editing's fault. Always, every single time. I've never read one that's like, "Wow, we really sucked." You know?
Yeah. Well, this episode definitely had me feeling a certain sort of way because it was one of those episodes where I texted Ronnie. I think I texted you and I was like, this episode's making me feel a lot of things. Now, I've forgotten almost all of it because it was last year, guys. But as we go through it, I'm sure like things will be drudged up and I will have rage anew. But I was feeling things. I was having a lot. Well, I know. Oh my God, I had a Vietnam flashback into what made me so mad. Actually, and I will get to it. I will get to it, everyone. We're going to put a pin in that. That's a preview. Just wait for about 75 to 80% through this way through our recap, and my anger will come out. Yeah.
Well, this show is hard to even get that angry about because this is the lowest rent of all the below decks. The boat's falling apart. There's always shit falling all over. I mean, I know they're tilting, but they still don't have cabinet doors that can close. People come spill drinks on you. I mean, that's just how the show is. Yeah. They serve you shitty food half the time. There's sperm all over everything. You know, they fuck all over the boat. It's just a nasty, skeevy show. Gary's always there driving you. I mean, it's just one of the skeevier shows. So there's an element of me that no matter how bad the guests are, I'm always kind of on their side because I'm like, let's be honest, they're probably right. You know what I mean? Like these guests were complaining about every drink, but then I was like, but these drinks probably do suck. And they complained about the food. And I'm like, but the food probably did suck. Like the things they complained about, they weren't great, but they might have had a point.
But also you're going on a charter for like a very reduced cost. We know this. And it's like on TV. Like I know if I want to have a delicious meal, I'm not going to go to Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. I'm going to go to a proper restaurant. I'm not going to eat on a soundstage. So like, yes, they are entitled to be disappointed by shitty service 100%. And I know that if I were on the boat, I probably would be a monster. I would be edited to be a monster. But that being said, like, also, you know what you got yourself into.
Yeah.
Also, it's Kate.
Well,
Chastain's
also the
birthday,
one-day charters. You know what I mean? Because I already have zero respect for one-day charters. Like you're already getting a bargain, but you need this much of a bargain. Like really? They're like, I'll give you $5, and then we'll just come be monsters on your boat. I mean, and then they're just like, I don't understand what this food is, or you know, whatever it may be for the one-day charter. But they're never good, and they're always horrible people. And it's like you are the ultimate NASCAR people. Can you please stop pretending? Actually, are NASCAR people rich? But you know what I mean. Probably. They're just like low at. Sorry. I'm offending all the NASCAR people. But you know what I mean. When NASCAR comes to town and suddenly there's flags you don't understand on cars and like people tailgating you and yelling faggot out their window. You know how it is.
That's exactly what these people are. You know,
not these in particular. I just mean lower rent people in general. Though I just mean one day charter people. I'm not even going to say lower rent anymore. I'm just going to say those are one day charter people.
Lower tip. I love this. I think you're so right. I feel like we've never really have articulated that. Like when it says one day charter, I'm always like cheap. I'm like,
was Walmart closed today?
Yeah. Please pack up your bindle and leave.
I always say the one day charters are my favorite because I always see my own clothes represented on screen. It's like, oh my God, finally people who wear Old Navy are here.
But also, like, what's the point? Like, you're like, it's a little bit of it's effort to get onto a yacht and to do all that stuff. I just feel like one day, I mean, you're just, it's like, like just do 2 nights. Like you're not gonna, what if the first day you're
It's just so
seasick?
sad.
Build in the
It's just so
time.
sad.
Sad.
All right.
Maybe it's the
Here we
shooting
go.
schedule. Oh wait, but we do have something here. There's something I do. I don't remember if we talked about this last time. I think we speculated it, but we heard from an old queen at a bar previously on Blue Deck Sailing Yacht. Gary decides he isn't going to be drinking for the rest of the season, which lasts all of about half an episode. We were speculating on the last episode when Gary suddenly decided that he wanted to be sober. We thought like nothing that happened on camera seemed so crazy or beyond the pale of what he normally does, that he decides to finally become sober. And as we all know, leading into the season, we've read that, and we know that there's like someone on the staff of Below Deck, I think was made allegations or maybe pressed charges or something like that about Gary. I think it was coming on to her, inappropriate, yada, yada. We know it's terrible. And so we were wondering if maybe this happened, like, and this is what really caused him to be sober. And then we heard from an old queen at the bar who said that basically, that like, I think the timing of it actually did work out, and that when they shoot Below Deck, there's like forced time, like the cast has to have time to like that they're put into sequester every few days and they're put into hotel rooms. They don't talk to anyone else, and that's when this incident happened. So it would make sense that like during a blackout period, no pun intended, that Gary like was in his hotel room, and this is when this all happened, and he comes back to shoot. And so for us, we don't on camera, we don't see anything, but it's something that happened off camera, off like beyond the shooting schedule, in between charters.
So what did Old Queen? I have an article up if you want deets. So this is from
Really?
Screen Rant. Gary basically was accused by season 4 makeup artist. We'll hold her name here because why put her through that? But makeup artist of sexual misconduct stemming from an incident that allegedly occurred during filming in the summer of 2022. Samantha was tasked with escorting cast members to and from their rooms for production in between interview segments. She also kept the crew isolated before and after the interviews. Samantha claimed, well, there we go. Okay, I can't not read her name. Samantha claimed that she brought a boozed up Gary back to his hotel room following filming for a confessional interview. Gary had been in isolation after a positive COVID-19 diagnosis kept him from joining the crew. And so this is where he showed up late for that season. Remember? Because he had COVID or
everything
something.
I said was basically wrong.
Well,
because 2022 is, but maybe, okay, so 2022, obviously this entire theory is.
Well, no, because this aired in 2024, but it was filmed a long time before. Because remember, this has been on the shelf for a long time.
I think it was probably filmed in 2023, but it's possible that it's possible that maybe the allegations surfaced during.
Well, let me
the
just
season.
finish this so I don't leave people hanging. So she stated that she was bringing him back to his room, and he was behaving erratically, and eventually grabbed her from behind and physically restrained her from leaving before she was able to get away. She stated that production never limited Gary's alcohol consumption, and she worked on previous seasons, including season 10, where she accused Bosun Ross of making inappropriate comments towards her. So that's the article there.
And when did that article? When did this news break?
This was November 4th, 2020. No, it's updated November 4th, 2024. So this must have been a long time ago.
So maybe when the news broke, Gary was like maybe reprimanded off camera, etc. So I will amend the theory, but I'm glad you clarified that because I'm not trying to pass along bad information, even though I blatantly just did. But
most of it is just stuff we read headlines about. You know what I mean? And it happened a long time ago. I thought the same thing. I was like something, and it might have still happened because we don't really know when this was filmed. That's the thing about Below Deck. Like, how are we supposed to know when this was filmed?
Yeah. Well, we will keep an eye on it, and we will try to piece together the timeline as best we can. But
anyway, the
Gary,
point was he must have done something really bad off camera to warrant him suddenly becoming a good little angel and deciding he's going to quit. And then he even did the PR thing of, look at me, I'm going to have a girlfriend now, when he's trying to make good with Daisy and it's just me and Daisy. We have so much going for us, and I believe in us long term, even if you don't. I'm just this whole, it's just me, dependable Gary, just waiting for you. You know, like, girl, you have been such a fucking monster. And whenever a boy starts this good little boy act, it's because he's been caught doing something very, very bad.
Exactly. I think I told the story before. It's like when I was in 8th grade and my parents were like, you know, it's time for you to go to a sleepaway camp. you need to grow up a little bit. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave home. So I went and I washed all the dishes in the sink. I was like, I'm going to show them. I'm grown up. I can wash the dishes. And I was like, I'll fix it. And that's basically what he's doing. He is washing his dishes, hoping that this will suddenly cause things to change rapidly. And it won't. So we start the episode. Everyone is waking up after their crew night out, and Daisy and Gary are sharing a room. And Daisy's like, "So, did you have fun last night?" And he's like, "Yes, I did have a fun night. You know, it's hard to get along with everyone when everyone's drunk." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, no shit. It's hard. Imagine we've been the ones having to watch you get wasted for 4 years now. How hard is it on us? Now you're only just getting barely a taste of it, and everyone getting drunk doesn't even compare to what everyone's had to deal with when you've gotten drunk, sir.
So then we go to Danny, who has just hooked up with Chase. You know, they've been banging in the bedroom all night 3 times, we find out later. And she's like, so last time I kissed somebody on this crew, I was told I could never happen again. But this time, I'm hoping you'll say that he needs it to happen all the time. And I loved every second, because I did. So, and then Chase is like, wow, gee golly, woof. I've only been here 3 days, and last year I had to sleep in the fucking crew mess because there was sex happening in my fucking cabin. Now here I am. Ding, 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 ding. Just got lots of laid.
Yeah. Personality still sucks, though. By the way, I also want to mention my favorite part of that little Gary Daisy scene was that after Gary is reflecting on how hard it was, you know, with everyone being drunk and how proud he is that he got through a night of not drinking. He literally says, you know, we should celebrate. Have a drink off the boat, you and I. So congrats, Gary, for celebrating your new sobriety by toasting to it with a drink.
Well, that's what they always say. I mean, listen, that's why you are supposed to celebrate in AA with chips, because, you know, salty things are the best things to eat while you're drinking.
Yeah.
That's where the chip comes from.
Exactly.
I mean, you couldn't be like, hey, congratulations on 3 months sober. Here's a cocktail peanut. It's like, that's not fun. You know, we can't really commemorate that.
Hey, I broke my teeth on this chip. Well, you're not supposed to eat that, sir. So now Diana is like, how was your night? And Dan's like, oh, it was fun. And she's like, oh, I guess I have to do the fucking master again.
Why do you have to clean up the sperm? You blew it, you stew it. That's what I say. Not stew it. That's disgusting. You unloaded. You should commode it. You unloaded it. You should commode it.
If you've got time to splooge, you got time to stew. Do it.
Okay.
So the producer's like, hey, so Chase, what about Diana? And he's like, well, Diana's stunning, but I also think she's reserved, whereas Danny saw an opportunity and took it, and I'm not upset about it. Is this The Apprentice? Like
Seriously. You know, because, and this just for anybody wondering what guys like, this, easy. That's what guys like. They like it to be easy. Okay. That's all they want. Just make it, whoever makes it is easier for, this guy would fuck a Costco chicken sample, is basically what he's saying.
He is basically like when he gets an erection when he hears the Toyota jingle. We make it easy, easy for you.
Sir, you're not supposed to stick your penis in the pipe, right? It's back there putting his banana in the tailpipe like he's in Beverly Hills Cop. It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial. then, so Diana has to go clean up the splooge. Not fair. So then, Glenn is checking in with Davide. He's like, did you have fun last night?
We did indeed. It was so fun. Good times. Good time.
Did you bleed?
Not that I remember. Ding!
Did you go to a cave? No, I don't think. You always ask me if we go to a cave. We never go to a cave. Oh, I'm just holding out hope.
So Chase is checking with Deanna, but she's like, whatever. You know, he's like trying to be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, how you doing? Had so much fun. Had a good night with everybody. And she's like, uh-huh. And he's like, shut up. Okay. Shut up, you talkative little minx. All right. Not working on her.
Ooh, Chase, did you have fun last night? Where did you disappear to? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I had a great time. I don't remember, man. No, shut up. Come on, spill the beans. Blah, 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 blah.
So Danny's going off to Deanna about how hot he was and all this, you know, just rubbing it in. And because, you know, people like this also get off on the whole, like, I won the man. Mm-hmm. You didn't win the man. How does it feel not winning a man? How's it going folding those cum rags? You like that? Yeah, I caused those. Like, she gets off more, I think, on the bragging about it to the girl who she beat than the guy that she beat off.
She truly is someone who prattles on. It's not that she talks and talks or brags. She prattles. Like, she is the prototypical prattler. Like, she should be in some old Jane Austen movie, coming in and be like, oh, I went with Mr. Willoughby to the dance and he just danced with me all night long. Isn't that amazing? I danced with Mr. Willoughby. It's like, oh, shut up, you prattler.
You goddamn prattler. So Gary's telling Chase, listen, I thought you were going to hook up with Deanna. What was that? You were flirting all night. And he's like, what? I'm not hooking up with anybody. I'm just doing a big job, man. Okay, just doing the squeegee. And back to Deanna, she's like, well, I do not enjoy this because you leave me alone for a good couple of hours. And, you know, here I am having to work. And she's like, well, why doesn't everyone just make out? You know, you can always sleep in the master. Everyone's being silly about this. If you want to have sex with someone, have sex with someone. I mean, if there's someone to have sex with, I'm having sex with them. Where are they? She can't have sex with anybody. You're there. You're reserving it. You're the first in line at the fucking Hertz rental every goddamn day that they open. How's anybody else supposed to drive a decent car?
I know. You're making everyone else go to Alamo. So Danny's like, well, what do you want? She tells us, what do you want me to do? I mean, like, sit back and, like, watch you stare at him from the corner of the crew mess table for the rest of the season and maybe he'll come hook up with you? Like, no, excuse me. I was a cheerleader. I had 10,000 men staring at me. I'm going to take my shot.
Here's what she wants you to do. Not take every cookie off the plate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, leave some for the rest of the people. Just because a cookie plate is there doesn't mean they're all for you. It's not all for you, cookie stealer.
Share and share alike.
Can you tell it was just Christmas? You wake up and those cookies are gone, and I'm like, that fat bastard, you know? And I'm really going on my own journey and trying not to body shame people, but I leave a whole plate of cookies out there. I wake up, they're gone, and you just, like, hear a ho, 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 ho yourself, and I just fixed that roof. You fat motherfucker. Get the hell off my roof.
These cookies were not for you. I did not say you could come in this chimney. There are no children here.
I don't even believe in you.
I'm calling Crappens. So Danny is like, Gary's sick and hot. Like, you can have Gary. Like, as if, thanks for giving Diana your literal sloppy seconds. Okay, thanks for offering up. You know, there was a season of Survivor where this one girl, I think her name was Poppy or something, she went off on a reward and they gave her like a mint and she came back and she was like sucking the mint and everyone was staring at her and they were so angry and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she took it out of her mouth and offered it to someone like, do you want it? And it was just like, shut the fuck up. Thank you for offering your Gary mint to Diana.
Yeah. I mean, you've already given whatever Gary gave you to Chase. So I guess, you know, at least you're being fair with it.
The wrong kind of sharing.
And Diana's like, no, thanks. I don't do love triangles. Now, regular triangles, I will play them if Putin asks. Would you like to hear me play Moon River? Ding. Ding, ding, ding. All right, stop it. I'm going to fuck that triangle.
I thought that was a little inconsiderate because you said you were going to play Moon River on the triangle, but instead you just sort of accompanied it. I don't think that's fair.
Okay, so Deanna's like, that girl moves fast, and I expected her to jump on Chase, but it still sucks, So she picks up the towel. She's like, I hope this doesn't have penis things. Throw it on her face and make her do it.
She's like, what? See, no, that's my towel. It doesn't have penis stains on it. Oh. All right, everyone. Daisy, Glenn, and Chloe. It's time for a preference sheet meeting in the cave. That's what I'm calling the crew mess now. God, I love it in here. Okay, this is a quick overnight charter. Cheap bosses. Okay, Daisy, thank you. Jillian is an operations specialist in healthcare, and Sherry is a celebrity hairstylist. Jillian and Sherry plan to enjoy fun in the sun and great cuisine alongside their friends.
Okay, so one of you charges too much for my blood work, and the other one does terrible tracks on Housewives. Okay, I already hate both of you.
One is a professional hanger-on, and the other is fleecing America. So,
so Gary's like,
Well, the guests would like to enjoy all of the water choice this boat has to offer and hope they can catch some wine for an amazing seal. Bulu bulu billy, billy bulu bula, blue, 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 blue.
Gary, get through the blah, blah, blahs already.
ding! Diana, stop playing a triangle in here. We're having a meeting.
Chase, get your penis out of the triangle. It was there. It was easy, man. Okay, so Cloyce just reads 7 courses. Okay, so we already know these guests are morons because who asked for that? 7?
Okay, it's not.
Is that a thing?
Crazy. Well, no, I don't. If you're going
That's
to
too
fine
many courses.
dining,
5 courses is a lot. Come on, five is your traditional,
we know that's
right?
Well, 5 is your traditional for Captain Sandy. Remember, she told Rachel, "Hey, 5 courses, just 5 courses." No, a 7-course meal is fine for fine dining. And we're going to circle back to this because this is where my rage is going to come into, but I'm going to let my rage out at an appropriate time. But 7-course meal is appropriate. What I do think is strange, though, is that pairing with the drinks they all learn to mix. They want to do a mixology course. I think mixing with mixology is a strange, that's a strange request. So they want to do a mixology class, and then they want to do a 7-course meal to pair with their drinks that they're going to make. I don't know. That doesn't sound very fine dining-y. And also, whether it's fine dining-y or not, it just doesn't sound like a good idea.
Well, it sounds like Gary waiting. It sounds like just alcoholism, right? It's like 8 drinks, 7 drinks. Okay, so I know that like 7-course meals are heard of. I shouldn't say they're morons, but you automatically know they're jerks. Because when you come on a one-night charter and you're just like, make us 7 courses. It's like people who, yes. I don't know, it's like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get everything that I can fucking get. It's like my friend who goes to the front desk and asks for the slippers and the toothpaste and the towels. And then she's taking home she'll unplug the phone, the hotel phone and put it in her bag on the way out. It's like, this is my one night at a hotel and I'm getting every free thing I can.
Yeah, act like you've been there before, Well, I'll also, if it's your one night on the yacht, I kind of feel like I want to spend more time, experiencing the yacht rather than being, stuck at a table. If I'm going to do a 7-course meal, I'm going to do the 7 courses at a proper restaurant, maybe not, on a boat that's sideways.
Well, now, here's another thing. Also, I'm having to lube up the side of my lips because I got... for the new year, I'm going on a stronger retinol, which is, stuff old people use on their face. For those of you who are like, what is retinol? It's like a face cream that kills a layer of your skin to reproduce skin more quickly for when you're old. So anyway, I had it on my hands, and then after that I put on argan oil on my face, and I was putting the argan oil on, and I was like, oh, I should just put some on my lips because I love argan oil. Well, I had the fucking retin-A still on my hands. So now my lips are falling off Basically. So if my lips fall off during this recap, it's because I did it to myself with face creams. Okay, back to the show. So also, to stand up for the guest real quick, I don't think they specifically said they need to have 7 drinks in their 7-course meal. They just said they wanted the drinks they learned to be paired well. You could do a mojito and pair that with lots of different things, with like coconut or the mint could go with this other thing. You know, maybe the first 3 courses go with 1 drink.
That's all assuming that when you request to learn how to make a mojito, you also know what a mojito is and like a mojito. But we'll get to that in a moment. So Daisy is like, all right, Clovis, just tell me your menu and I'll pick the cocktails to go with it. He's like, okay, beautiful strategy.
Well, the itinerary requests are pretty straightforward. They seem like a fun group. So Clovis is like, the guests has specifically requested 7-course meal. Not 6, not 8, not 11, not 4, not 2. 7. Thank you. Thank you, Clovis. Keep talking. Hey, make this monologue longer.
Yeah. He's like, well, my goal is to showcase a broad range of culinary skills, highlights for some things from local seafood and processes. It's like, yeah, you're going to cook 7 meals, 7 courses. We get it. We understand what that means.
Not
you
3.
Do not highlight things.
Not 19.
He's like, I don't want to highlight my skills. I'm going to microwave everything. So they, everyone does their task and then they get ready to go off on the boat for, and everything. And so Gary's like, Daisy P, do you want to go get to that drink now? Blah, 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 blah. Which I'm like, wow, you're really eager to get that drink to celebrate your non-drinking, sir. I'll be ready for the drink. I'm doing really well, my sobriety. I'm ready for the drink now, Daisy. Blah, blah, blah.
So Danny's like, uh-oh, is this a date? Is this a date? And he's like, well, having Daisy be supportive of me not drinking is a good feeling for me, because then I know she's going to be there for me at my worst when I'm drunk, because she has been there. And also she'll be there for me at my best when I'm sober, which will never, ever happen. But working together, living together, having these ups and downs, children running all around, snot coming after them, Daisy yelling at me from a fire escape in the middle of a very poor neighborhood to come inside and leave my boys. God, that vision is just still so strong in me. Daisy just hanging off the fire escape with a cigarette dangling out of her mouth and her ponytail kind of half undone and her makeup smeared down her face while dirty children run all around her.
Gary, you get your ass up here before you lose it. Kids, get off the ironing board. That's not the playground. Oh, I told ya. Well, now one of them's lost their face. Get up here, you fucking good for nothing.
One of the low points of my Christmas vacation was that for whatever reason, Dom and I put Look Who's Talking on. It was on TV, and so we watched part of it. First of all, it's not a good movie. Second of all, there is a scene where Kirstie Alley R.I.P., has she has a vision of what life would be like if she got with John Travolta, and it was like literally everything you just described. It was like her in curlers, John Travolta coming in with like a pot belly and like the kids throwing food around the kitchen, and she has like a cigarette out of her mouth like, did you pick up the milk? And like that's what Daisy and Gary would be. They would be a Look Who's Talking fantasy
sequence. Just that nightmare trash couple, and it's usually the couple, it's usually like the homecoming queen and the football quarterback from high school who just become trash as they get older, and it's just gross. But so Kirstie Alley was in that. Wasn't Roseanne also in that? I mean, half that movie's not even allowed on Twitter.
I think that Roseanne was a voice of one of the babies in the sequel.
Or the sequel, okay. Look Who's Talking too.
Yeah, it was.
Look Who's Talking as well.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was like actually so much worse than I ever remembered it. And then when I saw Amy Heckerling directed it, I was like, Amy Heckerling. I thought it was gonna be some random like old guy, and it was Amy Heckerling. So who knows? So think about that, Amy Heckerling. If you're listening, you did bad work.
The title of Ben's movie about that day: Heckling Heckerling.
Look Who's Talking. How about we call it Look Who's Directing?
Look Who's Heckling.
Look Who's Heckling.
So they leave, and Daisy's just like, where are we going, Gary? It's like, just to the corner. So they do. And he's trying to hold her hand and stuff. And she's like, what are we going for a drink for, Gary? He's like, ooh, for us, it's the season. 'Tis the season. And she's like, well, are you not going to drink for the rest of the season, Gary? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a glass of wine tonight. Well, it's over then.
Daisy, why did you give me this slice of pizza? Oh, that's to represent the wedge of the chip that you achieved in your 8 hours of sobriety.
I'll spit it out.
Then meanwhile, Danny is, she's like, oh my God, Chase is asleep. My love is asleep. Let's go wake him up. It'll be hilarious. So they go and they wake up Chase and it's like funny antics. So we come back to Gary and Daisy. And this is where Gary is now trying to see himself as a mature person. And so he's like, Daisy, Gary tells us, we're roomies and then being besties to being best friends to moving on. In all seriousness, what are you looking for in life, Daisy? Oh, I guess he's telling Daisy this. And she's like, in life? Yeah, for the next couple of years, have you thought about, I don't know, settling down with a tall drunkard who likes to do terrible things to other people? Maybe blah, 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 blah.
Well, I guess stabilize and work a bit would be nice, I guess. So, I've wanted to check out the Dysons, because frankly, they're supposed to be really great vacuums, but I've never wanted to spend the money. I say leave work at work. That's the kind of thing I say, but it's got a big bowl on it, and I've got to tell you, sounds good. Here I come next couple of years.
Well, I want to build that relationship period. Relationships require a lot of work. Fuck yeah. You go through the ups and the downs like us. We've been through a lot of shit that most married couples haven't been through. And seriously, it doesn't seem like it's going to anytime soon. And Daisy's like, she's already like, oh God, is Gary trying to really make something happen now?
Well, she's used to what Gary's done. She knows what Gary does. She knows his cycle. Gary's in trouble. So Gary is trying to, use her for PR. And she's like, no. Because I think Daisy likes Gary. I think she would, if Gary was being sincere right now, I think Daisy would be like, fuck yeah, let's do this. But she knows he's not being sincere.
And she knows that Gary just likes the idea of Daisy. She likes the idea of, he likes the idea of being in a relationship and like being the mature person he aspires to be. But I think he also is drawn to Daisy. I think he's not actually attracted to Daisy or wants to be in a relationship with Daisy. It's just that like she's the only one who, when he's done some real bullshit, like she's just like still is like nice to him. And so he's
well, it's like we all love a Waffle House, because really at the end of the day, no matter how drunk we are, they at least let us come sit down until we fuck up again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Daisy, you're basically a Waffle House. Congratulations. You've achieved so much in this relationship.
He's like, well, could you see a relationship with me? And she's like, Gara. I mean, I'm just asking for a friend here. I mean, imagine I wasn't here and someone asked you that. Could you see yourself in a relationship with Gary? And she's like, Gara, you just like the idea of me. I mean, you need to be honest with yourself. I think we both have a lot of work to do in ourselves, but I think I've been working on myself a lot more than you've been working on yourself. I mean, I think anyone's can work on themselves more than you've been working on yourself. That turtle over there on the beach has worked on itself more, and it's dead. It's a dead turtle, and it worked on itself more than you.
Let me just say, as a person who doesn't really care about either one of you, truly, and I can say that with heartfelt, in a heartfelt way, neither one of you have worked on yourselves. You're both exactly the same. Okay, carry on with your fake conversation. You are both exactly the goddamn same. What are you talking about?
He's like, what? I've worked on myself. And she's like, I think that you can get into a relationship with anyone. I think you need to really work on yourself because you're not going to have a healthy relationship with anyone. He's like, yes, but don't you think it's good to find someone in life that you can work on yourself with? Someone that brings out the best in you, like Hellman's? She's like, I don't even know what the Hellman's is, but you have to be in a secure relationship and you need to be with a secure person. And we're not secure people. I mean, look at me. I'm Daisy, for crying out loud. Daisy.
She's like, you're talking about somebody fixing your problems, Gary. And he's like,
how can someone understand your problems to have someone come in and say, okay, I'll look at it from this side. Isn't that what love is?
No, you want to date a fucking roll of paper towels to come in and clean up your mess. No.
Someone to Hold my hand, someone to clean up my mess, someone to slap me in the face when I get too drunk in between charters.
Being blah, blah, blah. Being blah, 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 blah.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Gary's like,
Well, I think I've been too scared to commit because I don't want someone to put me in my place because I'm selfish, but I know it's what I need.
well, that's what the police are there for, you know? But he's like, no, it's someone like Daisy. And she's like, well, because of everything that happened last year and Gary didn't respect my relationship with Colin and I kind of took a step back from our relationship. Actually, you hooked up with his best friend, which you have every right to do. I'm not shaming you for that. But you hook up with his best friend, then still flirted with him the whole time. Then they both treated you like total shit. And then you ghosted him until this season. Why are you acting like you took some step back because he didn't respect your relationship? You know who else didn't respect you? Colin. And Colin ended up good boy clubbing it with this one the rest of the time.
Yeah. Either way, I think that Gary is trash. And although you're not really refuting that, but she's
No,
like,
I'm not at all. I'm just, she has an interesting way of amending history. But that said, he is trash and she's not trash. I hope the best for her. I don't hope the worst for Gary. I'm just like, stay over there, stay over there.
Yeah. Well, unless Gary did some serious growing up very fast, us having a future, there's no fucking way, And she goes, I think we make each other laugh. We have similar interests, like alcohol. Anyway, it's a good list.
It's like, so you think there's a chance? All right, let's go, Days. That was very lovely. Thank you. Now I'm back to not drinking for 2 hours.
So he did he have the drink?
He definitely drank wine because the producers did a close up on the wine to be like, look, audience, he is in fact drinking wine. It's not something that looks like wine. It is wine. He is having wine right now to celebrate his sobriety.
Okay, so then now Deanna and Danny are still doing their flirt thing with Chase, and it's
annoying.
So then Cloyce is talking to Keith, and Cloyce is like,
So has your attention shifted at all?
he's like, what do you mean?
Well, like, obviously, you were getting along with Daisy pretty good. So how do you feel about that? Like, is it changing your vibe that she's out with Gary?
And he's like, I don't know, really. And this morning I felt like a piece of white bread. And then I found out about that, and I felt slightly toasted. And I'm just sitting here, slowly getting harder and harder, waiting for someone to take up a nibble out of me, really, before I'm ready to be thrown in the bin. Does that make any sense?
Someone to put me in the toaster. Someone to spread some butter on me. Someone to enjoy me for breakfast. Come have a little bite. I'll always be there, being a piece of toast.
Being a carb.
So Gary's back, and he's like, so what'd you guys talk about? He's like, oh, just fucking everything, us, where we stand. And Chloe's like, where'd you guys stand? Where are you guys? He's like, I think we're in a good place. I don't know. I meant to say, not.
He's intentionally being vague because he knows that both of these people like Daisy, right? So he's basically just put a blocker, which he knows he's doing also. He sees Daisy about to get a happy thing, so he's going to come in there and try and ruin it for her by making it like, well, I still like Daisy, so now both of these guys are going to have to back off. This guy's really such a piece of shit. He's such a piece of shit. So he's intentionally being vague. I'm like, ooh, I think it went really well. No, it didn't. She just told you had no fucking chance, dude. But of course, you're going to come make it sound like you do have a chance so that they don't have a chance, right? So then Keith tries to word it like, well, it's just like a classic high tension work relationship, right? Just work. And Gary's like, well, actually, it's pretty full on. So, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Just it was a respectful relationship about chips. And
anyway, I need to go. I need to go lie down. I'm pretty buzzed from my sobriety. So Keith is basically like, I don't really know what to do. I don't want to put my foot in something that's going to get stinky. And Gary's like, well, I guess we're just friends, eh? It's just like we fight, and it's weird what we've been through, days. And she's like, go to sleep, Gara. So yeah, they're just sort of settling.
And he
in.
goes,
So
but if you and I ever live together, we've got to get on a good vibe. And then he farts in her face while she's in the bed. She's like, Gary, you're disgusting. Which I think is the moment she realized she's marrying this man. Yes. Okay, so then Deanna and Chase, everybody's waking up the next day and getting ready, you know. And now it's provision times. And Davide is fixing lights in the cabins, going,
Lights, I fix. I'm Italian.
And then Gary and Daisy are checking. Oh, Deanna is asking Chase if he slept well. And he's like, I had this dream that 2 stewardesses came and drugged me out of bed. And she seems like so dejected this morning. She's just like, I can't believe someone would do that. Why is he talking to me?
And Diana's like, I don't want to be in love triangle, only Putin triangle. Ding. So Daisy, she's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you upset at her? And Chase, like, hooking up. Do you want to be mad, Diana? Do you want to yell at at Danny? Do you want to do that? She's like, I don't know. He wanted her. And she's like, sure. Well, okay. So would you hook up with him? No, never. I mean, I was vibing, but apparently it was not true on his side.
And it's like, well, you know, it was a bit shit because you didn't really have a chance, did ya? And she's like, well, I'm not going to fuck somebody on the first day. She goes, well, with you being reserved as you are, I mean, look, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying he's an idiot because the boy's an idiot, you know? Yeah, you leave a chicken wing on the table, the boy's going to eat the chicken wing on the table, not the one that's in the refrigerator that needs to be prepared first. It's just how they are. We are, I guess. I'm gay. What am I talking about? We're the worst.
Yeah. Diana's
with this
like,
stuff.
I feel like Danny sees everything as competition, and fuck that. I don't fight over men. No, thank you. I have more things to do with my life, like sit in corner and stare angrily at something.
I have more important things to do, like clean the cum rags of people who are fighting over the men, you know? So then Deanna's like, he wanted easier and he got her and that's it. So that's true. So then the guests come on board and Daisy gives them the tour and stuff. And their first complaint is when they see the hot tub and they go, well, it would be nice if that was an actual pool.
It would be nice. Maybe next time, go to a pool.
Yeah, maybe next time, like, read the fucking listing of the Airbnb that you rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you show up to an Airbnb. There's a kitchen sink, but it's not a pool. So there's 5 points off.
Maybe next time, look into what a boat is and look into what a pool is and see why maybe they don't play well as friends. Yeah. Okay?
Maybe.
Yeah. So now they're like, can we have help unpacking our bags? And so they're already making all the requests and everything. So they leave port, and now the guests are asking for drinks, and they're just being so obnoxious about it. They're like, Daisy, can we have another drink? We have a refill. Can we have a drink? Oh my God, I left my drink over there. Can we bring my drink? I lost my drink.
Yeah, and they're like, where is she? Did she forget about us? And someone's like, oh, she's tired. And they said, well, did you tell her to make a margarita? Daisy, get my champagne from my bathroom. I mean, God, I'm not on vacation. If you want something, ask the right people. Oh, no, one of her friends is like, I'm not getting that. If you want something, ask the right people for it. So then they're like, I mean, is there a button you can press? Like, where is everybody?
Oh my God. And they're just like asking, making lots of requests and everything. So at this point, I would say, like, okay, I can imagine that the editing made them look really spoiled because, like, I can imagine they're so excited that they have all this service. They're being jokey amongst themselves. It makes it look like they're doing this. But the rest of the charter, though, they just continue to get worse and worse and worse. So now the sails go up because it's time to go sailing. So Captain Glenn is all excited. And now the boat starts to tilt to the left. Everything falls out of the cabinets because, once again, the crew has, like, they act like they had no idea this would ever happen. So they don't lock anything down. So everything's tumbling out of every shelf.
And then, of course, one of the guests is like, this is not what I expected. Why is the boat going sideways? Don't tell me you never watched a show that you went on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't even watch one episode. I do not believe you. So then she starts with the whole, oh my God, the boat's tilting. I can't handle it. I'm going to throw up. I'm definitely going to throw up. I'm definitely for sure going to throw up. Okay. Another piece of evidence that this person is a complete asshole who is in a group of people and needs to barf and just sits there. I'm going to throw up, guys. I'm going to throw up. Then get your ass up and go to the bathroom. What are you doing sitting here? You're going to throw up on me? You don't have anything to throw up into. You're not bent over the side of the boat. Are you planning on me being your target of throw up? Because I will throw your ass overboard. Okay? Who the fuck invited this person on? That's the last time I would ever go out with that person. One of my best friends, I was driving her home when she was wasted, and she said, I have to throw up. And I said, I'll pull over. And she said, I can't wait. And do you know what this little angel did? She barfed in her purse.
Wow.
That's what good friends do.
That's a good friend. You try to accommodate. Also, how about this? Crazy idea. How about you just like turn the fuck around and barf into the ocean? Okay.
For real.
Like that's what there's like a literally like a giant space for you to throw up. It'll be okay. Like why
You'll
do they have
probably
to
be throwing your straws in there within 5 minutes.
I know. And on top of that, honestly, I really do think she's being dramatic because how is it that the choppiness of the sea she was fine with, but when they tilt, that's the issue? I feel like the tilting is not what will make you seasick. I think it's the up and down, the choppiness. So she was just, I think, being like, oh my God, it's sideways. I'm going to get sick now. And she doesn't even wind up puking, by the way, because they would have shown it. So they go running all around to find like a bin, which by the way, they kind of should have had one, like they should have like seasick bags like ready, like not just like tucked away at the depths of the ship. There should be one on the deck. But now she's like, so she basically says like no more tilting of the boat, which is like, look, I don't get off on the boat, the sailing the way Glenn does. But like if you're gonna book a sailboat, why would you book the sailboat and then not want to do any of the sailing? It's just stupid.
Yeah. So then one of the friends is like, are you sure it's not the margarita? Like now you're already blaming service for your friends wanting to throw up with seasickness. Yeah. So then Daisy's like, oh my God, it doesn't sound like anyone's throwing up. And then we hear, bleh, bleh. But we still get no proof that she threw up, right? I don't think we saw that she threw up.
I don't think so.
So then Gary is like, so you're not comfortable? You want us to stop? Which I think is the first time in history Gary said that. And she's like, yes. So then Glenn stops. And he's like, this is the first time I've ever been asked to stop sailing. Whoa, I hope to God it's the last. So now Gary goes to check on Cloyce, and he's getting that 7-course thing ready. And now it's time to put the sails away and drop anchor. And now, where should we do the cocktail making class? Daisy is asking Danny, which is interesting. Why would you ask Danny? She doesn't know anything. Yeah. And Danny's like, at the bar. And Daisy goes, oh, that would be cute. It's also where all the liquor is, Daisy.
That's where you would have a mixology class. So Daisy asked Danny to like get some stuff ready, and then Danny is like talking to this woman Jillian about like when they want to do cocktail mixology and Tommy and everything like that, and they want to do like class at 7:30, dinner at 9:30. So just getting this ready, and then Gary, like they're all kind of glum. So Gary's like, "Hello, ladies, do you want to try some sea bobs today?" Blah blah. So they're like, "Okay," and so he's like showing how to do it, and they're like, so wait, so you're literally like a fish in water? Like you're just going to go straight into a shark's mouth or a dolphin's mouth?
Like, well, a dolphin's mouth could be pretty cool. I've already made out with a shark. So, try everything once. Am I right, ladies? Tink.
I love that a dolphin's mouth is like the worst version for her. She's like, we're going to wind up in a shark's mouth or a dolphin's mouth. I guarantee you the dolphin is not going to be sitting there with its mouth open waiting for you to come into it.
Well, you know, little fish don't feel like that. They're terrified. You know, she's got little fish energy. So then Gary's like,
yeah, I don't have any idea if these guys are having a good time, probably. And I don't like that one bit. So fuck it. I'm going to wet these people. You're getting wet, girls.
And then he starts pulling them into the water and stuff. And they're just bored. They're like, you know, sea bobs, meh. I tried it. Stupid. Well, the water should be fun, but it's not. They just hate everything. They hate the drinks. They hate the service. They hate the tilting. They hate being here. everyone's been nothing but
themselves.
lovely to them, and nothing has really bad happened to them yet. They just came
Yeah.
on here to be fucking miserable and act like they're better than everything and everybody.
It's actually been a very functional charter compared to the others, you know?
Yeah.
They would have, you know what? This would have been really Emma's time to shine. She could have been like, oh, so you hate everything, you're bored by everything, you should meet my sister. She says, I am like that. I guess I'm just like you guys. Oh,
yeah.
mortifying.
Emma would have finally identified with some guests. You know, she would have been
Yeah.
like, I hate sea bulbs as well. I mean, seriously. You hold on. They work, dragging you through the ocean like a piece of garbage. Unbelievable.
I did once find myself in a dolphin's mouth, and you know what happened? The dolphin said, you're doing it wrong. I mean, I can't do anything right, apparently. And then my sister came and rode that dolphin off into the sunset. Pathetic.
So now it's getting set up for mixology, and Deanna's like, well, you know, let's get what we need for the drinks. And Danny's like, well, I've accepted everything on this boat is extremely unprepared and unplanned. Well, you were put in charge of preparing and planning it, so I think this
Yeah.
would be on you.
Yeah, exactly. So these guests who requested a mixology class seem so uninterested and unenthused about doing this. So they gather round, and Daisy's basically like, all right, ladies, if you're ready, we're going to make some drinks. So then Daisy is like, she starts off with like a mojito, which she makes with brown sugar, which I was like, I didn't think brown sugar was really a mojito ingredient. That was a strange choice. And they just seem so uninterested. They're like,
Is it?
"Ugh."
Do you not put brown sugar in a mojito?
I thought it was just white sugar. Is it brown sugar?
Well, I always
Am
see the cane sugar sticks that they put in there, but I don't know what actual kind. Are you looking
brown
it up?
sugar is like molassesy. Is brown sugar?
Yeah, I don't know.
in a
Brown sugar sounds
mojito?
fancy, but I mean, I don't know.
I'm
I
asking
just use it
AI.
for cookies, personally.
Well,
Or to
according
glaze a
to
carrot every
AI
once in a while, am I right?
Well, Padma AI says, no, brown sugar is not typically used in a mojito unless you're Gail. The traditional recipe for mojito calls for granulated or white sugar. Stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Daisy doesn't really know what kind of sugar to use. So, which isn't even meant to be a sick burn, but her mixology is like, all right, here's my Google results on my phone. You know, she's just like staring at her phone. She's like, all right, sugar. All right, we've got sugar in there. All right, we've got some rum in there. It doesn't look like you're
Yes.
getting a course from someone who really understands mixology, you know?
This is kind of like basic bar drinks at this point. And so, but what's funny is that they seem like, it feels like these people have never even encountered a mojito before, because she's like, all right, we're going to put rum in there and some mint and some sugar and some soda. And they're like, and we're supposed to drink this?
Yeah.
It's a delicious, delicious cocktail.
Yeah, it's one of the most delicious sugary cocktails. And yeah, Shari's like,
time.
we're going to
Even-
drink this. And she goes, well, I mean,
with brown
hopefully it'll
sugar.
be nice. And then the poor husband, there's one husband on this trip who's trying to be positive and no one will let him,
enormous
you know,
sneakers.
but he's like, oh, that tastes really good. And then someone goes, really? I don't know. Okay, you hate a drink laced with sugar? Get the fuck out of here. I have
And
no
mint.
patience for you people.
Mint
My God.
sugar. It's like it's the most beautiful drink. And so then they
This
go on to a
reminds me of
mango.
when the Applebee's opened in our town, and my mom tried to go la-di-da at the Applebee's. She was like, well, let me tell you something about these cheese sticks. They're frozen. Oh, yeah. They're frozen. I was like, yeah, you're a real 5-star fucking diner there.
Where you're like, Mom, you're being a bad apple.
No, because that's reserved for busboys who don't clean the tops of the picture frames like me.
Yes.
Rondell, bad apple.
So then they move on to a mango martini, which admittedly to me sounds kind of gross. I like mango, but I just think that like things like that can often go too sweet and go like awry. So they make this orange blobby drink, and then this girl goes, "It's not sweet enough." What? That's the thing. Like no one ever says that about cocktails. It's always the other way around. It's too sweet. It's too like cloying. It's too awful. She's like, This mango frosty, it needs to be sweeter. Lady, get off this boat.
Here's a customer service for mangoes. Call them and let them know. And so Daisy, I like Daisy's response. She goes, not sweet enough? Good to know. Good to know. And then Shari's like, yeah, I'll pass on this. Why are you guys being so judgy? You're the ones making the fucking drinks. That's the point. If it's not sweet enough, make it sweeter, dummies.
Yeah,
You're the
you got the sugar
bartenders
right
here. That's
there.
the point.
You're supposed to she's giving you the skeleton, okay? You add the stuff to it. Like, come on. So Daisy's like, well, naturally, I'm a people person, as everyone can tell who has ever watched this show.
That's me.
But I can't read what's going on.
People person Daisy.
So they're like, yeah, then Sherry's like, I can't drink that one. It's really bad. And like you said, it's like, you made it. You
Yeah.
made it. You can fix it.
So then now Marcel's like, I think we should just quit this. And Daisy's like, okay, well, can I get you anything in the meantime? And Shari's like, maybe some water? I mean, gross. So Daisy's like, yeah, this is fucking
sweet
weird.
enough.
This water. So she's like,
It's pulsating. How uncomfortable everybody feels. It is pulsating.
So then now one of them is like, so do you got any of you guys want to do something else like this ever again? And they're like, no. And they're just like all sitting on the sofa, just like bored, unhappy. And Daisy's like, oh, well, I hope they like their dinner cocktails. So because remember, they're going to be pairing their cocktails with dinner, you know? So,
we got a message in our Instagram, now that I'm thinking about it, from someone who seemed extremely sweet. So don't worry, I'm not about to diss you, lady who messaged us on Instagram. But she's like, oh my God, my friend is coming up next week on Below Deck, and I'm really worried that she's not going to come off well.
I forgot about that.
Did you read that? She's like, I'm
But that was a
worried
while
it's
ago,
coming up.
yeah.
Well, let me just tell you, your friend fucking sucks. And I'm sorry. I don't even care which one it is. They all suck. And I'm so sorry that this couldn't work out better for your friend. But they did this to themselves. I mean, there's no amount of editing on earth that could have made these people look this terrible. These are just shitty people. These are just not nice people. They're not fun. They're not nice. They're horrible. Who goes on a boat and doesn't at least enjoy floating around? They don't even enjoy floating around.
Like, I can understand not being so excited about the water toys because I could see myself being that person. But, like, I don't understand how, like, you want to do a mixology course and then you're like blah about it. Maybe it's because these are kind of like your basic drinks. They're not, maybe they wanted something more exotic and fascinating, but still, like, you have fun. You're drinking your booze, you know, like
It's not the
I don't
drinks,
know.
and it's not the tilting, and it's not the water tour. It's everything. It's that it's every little thing the whole time. It's that they have to come on and belittle the staff and just treat everybody like crap for themselves to feel better. It's typical Below Deck awful guest behavior, and they're really checking all the boxes. So now we're talking about this 7-course meal, and he's doing a salad, baked oysters, crab cake, soup, fish. And he's like, you could pack a lot of good stuff into a 7-course menu. When I was 11 and did my first 7-course menu for President Clinton, don't worry about the timeline. It's not supposed to make sense. He loved it. But, mostly it was cheeseburgers, fries, baked oysters. Those were still there.
So if you're going to do a 7-course meal, the dishes have to be small, and usually like they're going to be like refined. They'll be like a little this, a little that, It's like almost like a tasting menu,
Almost like a
Every
mousse.
Yeah. So this is where I got so mad. And this is where I felt something for these guests. Because every single course he puts out there is like a full-size course. So first he starts out with a big-ass wedge salad. One of the heaviest salads you could have. It is, a wedge of iceberg lettuce covered in like usually like a blue cheese and like bacon. I mean, this looked actually very, very nice. This is a Parmesan emulsion. I was like, okay. So like it wasn't pinging my radar. It was just like a nice little wedge salad. And
But
so he
serving
serves
iceberg
that.
on a luxury yacht is...
Yeah, there's that too. And then but it's also then they get paired with these cocktails that are so inelegant for a 7-course meal. So the first one's getting paired with an Aperol Spritz. Now, this is no shade against an Aperol Spritz. I love an Aperol Spritz. But it was just like every cocktail was like Aperol Spritz. It was like a peach Bellini came out next to be paired with oysters. Like everything, I was like, this is actually a terrible meal. Like I'm a little bit on the guest side about this meal because this is a terrible pairing and it's like too much heavy food for like 7 courses.
Yeah, this is where we go back to the beginning of this recap where I was like, this is one of those where I thought, do they have a point? Because up to this point, I've been like, these guests suck. But at this part, I was like, oh, wow. Well, they had a tasting with nobody who knew how to make drinks. So they didn't teach them or good drinks. And now they're having a tasting and the guy doesn't really know how to do a tasting, obviously. And the people who are making them drinks don't know how to make drinks because.
Or pair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what. Although, I mean, it's easier to do a wine pairing than it is an actual alcohol pairing. A mixed drink pairing is very difficult to do. I've never heard of a mixed drink pairing, actually.
I have, but they're really not as successful. Yeah. And
I've heard of a whiskey pairing, something like that. It doesn't always have to be wine, but I've never heard of like, we're going to have 7 different mixed drinks to go with 7 different courses. But
yeah.
I don't know.
And not like,
I'm an old Navy
mixed
guy.
drinks that you make. And usually if there is like a mixology pairing, the beverages are very, very like artisanal. It's like there's a shrub and then there's a tincture and then there's like a vodka that was like aged with some sort of artichoke or whatever. It's like there's like the cocktails are given actually kind of like in a culinary approach, but this is just like Aperol Spritz, margarita, Long Island iced tea. So it's like this. I was like, ooh. But then again, so I'm like, these guests do have a point. But then at the same time, an Aperol Spritz, like you said earlier, an Aperol Spritz is really just 2 things, and it's a very, very common drink. And they're all acting. They're like, I don't like this. They're all like, they're acting like it's some exotic drink, and they're like, rejection. And you're allowed to not like an Aperol Spritz, but I just feel like you can't be like. You can't want an Aperol Spritz.
You can't blame the bartender on an Aperol Spritz. I guess is the point, right? It's like you're acting like the bartender did something wrong, and they're like, "Ew, it tastes like cough syrup." It's like, okay, well, but
it's an Aperol Spritz.
So anyway, so Jillian, one of the ladies, is like, "So, do you like Aperol Spritz?" to Danny, and Danny goes, "Personally, yes, but it's not my first choice." Why do you say that as a server too? Like everything's a clusterfuck at this dinner. I'm just saying everybody's wrong in this dinner.
That?
Like the service is bad, the mixology is bad, the food's bad, the guests are bad. It's all bad. So Cloyce is like, okay, for your next course, a play on Oysters Rockefeller, which I call Cloyce Ters Rockefeller.
They're like, we don't like wordplay. So he's like, okay, well,
no, this is bad too. You're doing something cutesy for the thing. Don't name it after yourself.
It's very First of all, Oysters Rockefeller, like, it's
what is this?
He's trying to make it look fancy. It's like he's doing like it's
bad.
If you're gonna do like the refined retro thing, you really have to. It's tricky, and like I don't know, Cloisters Rockefeller, but then they get paired with peach bellinis. I cannot think of a more disgusting pairing. Like,
horrible.
And it's like, why are you serving a peach Bellini? That's a brunch drink. Why are you serving it now? Who thought to put peach with Oysters Rockefeller? It's like, oh, God. And then Daisy comes out with a tray of them and spills the tray of peach Bellinis on the primary. I was like, oh, my God.
And then starts laughing. It's like, oh, I am so sorry. And she's like, that was just a nervous laugh. That was one of the worst moments of my life. And I've woken up next to Gary. All right. Thank God this is just a one-night charter. So she keeps saying, I'm sorry. And literally no one will say, okay. They just watch her clean it up. And so they hate the oysters. And also, she's serving way too many oysters at one time. Why aren't they just serving them one oyster? This is crazy.
It should be one oyster. Yeah, that's the thing. So, it's number 2 out of a 7-course meal. I was getting so mad. And then, but then I'm like, oh God. So these guests do have a point. But then one of them is like, does anyone want mine? This is Sherry, who is the primary. She's like, anyone want mine? Because I don't eat oysters. And so then she's going to get a shrimp replacement. And then they go downstairs.
We don't have time for a shrimp replacement. This is a 7-course meal. If you don't like something, wait till the next course. It's in 2 seconds.
There's no time. But then they look at the preference sheet. Not only does she not say she can't eat oysters, she actually requests oysters on her preference sheet.
This was
Fuck
bad.
These people.
And you can see that he literally circled where she said that she likes oysters so that he would be sure to include it on the menu. So he went out of the way to give her something that she likes, and she's turning it into something like a weapon. So she's like, so Jillian's like, okay, we need smaller drinks, which I think is valid. And so Shari's like, Daisy, this Aperol Spritz tastes like cough syrup. That's where we get that. And she goes, well, you don't like Aperol Spritz? And she goes, do you? She goes, yeah.
So Daisy brings the spritzes downstairs. She goes, they don't like the Aperol spritzes. And they just all crack up. Everyone down there just starts laughing. So then, and so Jillian's like, these drinks are too strong. How am I supposed to have 7 drinks? Which is, again, that's a lot, 7 drinks. So Daisy's
you drink
like,
a sip of it, but whatever. I think she's got a point overall. So, yeah.
Exactly. So then Clois brings up the next one is a fried crab cake. And it's not like a dainty little crab cake. They all get like a giant frisbee on their plates. I'm like, what were you doing to these women? This is so much food. This is crazy for a 7-course meal. And so it gets served with a mango daiquiri.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? Say it again. A mango daiquiri.
A mango daiquiri.
They're really leaning into the mango too. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe it's like maybe it was on their request. Just nothing makes sense.
Yeah, very, very not good. And then they have French onion soup for the.
Why not a gazpacho? You're in Spain, a gazpacho.
So I think he is doing what you were saying, which is the nod to like the supper club or whatever, like the 50s stuff, but like mid-century kind of food. But
I don't know where this.
Why?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. So then, and it's all also cold weather food. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So then,
great point.
They search it with a Hennessy French 75 or whatever. So then Shari's like, well, what happened to Daisy? Did she go take a nap? She's serving you 7 fucking courses, dude. And she's probably not wanting to come up here because every time she comes up here, you guys bitch at her about something. She's probably hiding from you.
Now it's 11:50 p.m., which I also did not even notice this. 11:50 p.m. when the 5th course comes up. It's a giant Mediterranean sea bass with squash puree with a passion fruit mojito. I mean, look, if the guests requested tropical drinks, then that's fine. And you could definitely have a tropical drink with a crab cake and even sea bass. But it just seems like this is such an inelegant and disgusting pairing that's happening all night long.
So then they're just exhausted and they're like, we're so tired. This is too much alcohol. Can you split the drinks? And Daisy's like, you don't have to drink them all. I'm like, no. Split them. Don't say that to a guest. Like, it's so weird. Even though I just said it, I didn't say it to the guest. It's just weird. So then they're like, no, just instead of making 6, make 3 and then split them. And she goes, oh, okay. I'll do that then. And then one of the friends is like, Shari, you're just getting on her nerves. And she goes, well, it's her job to remember what the guests want, right? She's definitely talking. And one of her friends is like, yeah, well, she's definitely talking about you now, babe.
But Sherry is right, because that woman, Jillian, did request like a small drink and they gave her a full-size drink. So like that is, I mean, I give a point to Sherry here.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean, although Shari is the one that can't remember what she wants, but still. So then Glenn checks in on dinner and Daisy stupidly is like, terrible. They hate everything. They hate me. I knocked champagne on them. 2 of them don't eat oysters, but it wasn't on their preference sheet. And he's like, uh-oh, is the mood okay? And she's like, I'm telling you, it's like nurses on a Saturday night without a cave to go to. Oh, no!
That's terrible. You know, we're used to guests walking off happy and having a great holiday. And on this charter, we're meant to bring it up to a higher level. It's not moving in the right direction. Like this boat, trying to stay afloat, which it rarely does. I'm starting to worry.
You know, I remember this happened one time in 1982. I just said that so you guys, there it is. The picture of me with an afro. Okay, there it is. All right, go on with the show.
So then they're like talking shit, and Glenn's like, you guys stop it, because they may like show up at the staircase. So then Clois goes upstairs. He's like, all right, the 6th course for you this evening is a filet mignon, mashed potatoes, and a side of another filet mignon, and a cream sauce, and you have to eat every single bite of it.
And so then they get an apple crumble with vanilla ice cream, and
and a baby Guinness. It's too much.
Which is Kahlua and Bailey's in a Guinness.
Delicious, actually. I love a baby Guinness.
So it's a lot. It's just a lot of heavy stuff. So then downstairs, I guess Keith has just woken up and he's like, Clois has a Royce. That's a Rolls Royce. Okay. And he's like, good morning, Keith, buddy.
Yeah. And then the guests just like go to bed. They're like, ah. And Daisy's like, fuck tonight. Dropping the ball, Daisy. Blah, blah. So, Gary remembered last night. Blah.
So Cloyce is giving Chase shit about hooking up the other night. He's like, so how were you in bedtime stories the other night? He said, great, man. I actually got 3 bedtime stories, if you know what I mean. Ding, ding, ding. Deanna's just playing the triangle still. I will practice triangle and not care about the bedtime story.
And then he's asking, what about you? What about you, Cloyce? And Cloyce's like, well, I think honestly the one I find to be most attractive is Daisy, and obviously a bit older. And Jason's like, well, like, you're her equal, bro. Like, you're a head chef. I don't give a fuck how old she is. If you're intrigued and she's intrigued, you might just have to get it out of your system, buddy.
Yeah. So then Gary's checking in with Daisy on their last day. And she's like, I'm awful today. I'm dreading it. And so she's like, oh, Chase, Daisy, Daisy, Chase, Daisy, Daisy, Chase, Daisy, Daisy. Listen, there's a bag in the corridor. I'm worried it's vomit. And so he's like, do you want me to get it and open it? She goes, I'd love it. So he opens it and he's like, yep, it's vomit. Oh, why'd you have to do that? Don't put your face in it.
Yeah, also, like, why didn't you puke in your toilet? Is that a strange request on my end? Like, to, like,
It
why?
has to be Shari's, right? It's like the lady who refuses to barf in a toilet.
Yeah, because then later on she mentions, she's like, oh, I couldn't find my trash bin, so we had to find a bag for me to throw up in. I'm like, what about your toilet? Have you never thrown up in a toilet? Do you understand how to do it?
Super weird.
So they dock. They serve breakfast. They serve like a quiche. And as soon as I saw that quiche, I was like, they're not gonna like that. I'm just telling you right now, they're not gonna like this quiche. They're gonna be like, why is this omelet so tall and why does it have a crust?
Yeah, they do not
they
like
don't
it.
like
You're
it.
correct. One of them's like, yeah, that is not good. So, and now Daisy walks by Chase and Danny, who are hugging, and Daisy's like, neither of you have something to do. Go find something to do. And Danny immediately gets all defensive, and she's like, oh my God, as if you're doing any fucking thing, bro. She's literally walking by to work.
She's exactly. And Danny's like, you know, Chase comes like past for like 3 minutes and just comes and speaks to me. And then Daisy walks past and has like the goddamn audacity to be like, do you not have anything to do? I'm like, it's not her audacity. It's her job as your boss to make sure that in this moment, while the guests are having breakfast, that you're, I don't know, cleaning their bedrooms or doing something other than flirting with Chase.
For fuck's sake, woman. So Deanna's like, yeah, but I mean, it annoys me too. She goes, well, then say something. Don't get pissed off at me. Say something. She does. And then you act like this. And by the way, Daisy did just say something to you and look at your reaction. So don't act like you're
literally said something. She
you're
literally
so
said,
calm with people just saying things to you. Weirdo.
She literally just said, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And like, now you're acting like it's shocking that anyone said that you had time to lean when you were full on leaning.
Yeah. Stupid.
So the guests are packing up and everything. And Sherry, they gather in like the salon, and Sherry's like, okay, guys, just between us, does anyone have any complaints? Do you think that you had 5-star service? And Jillian's like, well, I got sick and we couldn't find
They
a
said
trash
7-star service, I think. Because I was like, how many stars are there?
Yeah.
At some
that's what
point they
people
said,
always
is this
say.
7-star service? I was like, wait a minute, are we changing the rules now? Jesus, we got to fight for our stars these days.
And so, yeah, Jillian's like, I got sick and we couldn't find a trash can. And then this woman, Tanya, goes, yeah, I don't know what to do with the trash can. Go barf in a toilet, people. Jesus. So everyone
this is
starts
weird.
line-
They're having like a little meeting about what they're going to tip, I guess. And so then they bring in Glenn. And well, the crew, someone on the production crew obviously tells Glenn. They're like, go talk to them. So he's like, hi, is everything okay? Is there something you want to tell me? And so Jillian's like, well, we're trying to debrief to find out pluses and things that could improve. And when it comes to this level of luxury, you want what you pay for. And there was just a few hiccups here. And Shari's like, Jillian, just tell the truth. Do it. And so Daisy's looking in there knowing that they're about to get screwed, because this is definitely like a we're not tipping you situation. So do you think this is a sitch where they're not going to tip?
I think they'll tip. I don't think it'll be a good tip. Right now, I think the lowest tip of the season is still Dr. Contessa, who actually had a generally good charter. So we're going to see, will these people be better or worse than Dr. Contessa? Because that is the bar to beat. So I don't know. They might not tip. They were really unhappy.
They were real pissed. I mean, to have a whole meeting about it and the captain's there and everything is not looking good, but we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. But for now, that's it for this episode. We'll see what happens next week. Thanks for everyone who listens. Keep an eye out for that Crappies ballot. And also don't forget to buy tickets to the Crappies themselves, February 1st, New York City Town Hall. Or just come see us on the road at watchwhatcrappens.com for the tickets. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Catherine DiBernardo has our hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt.
Dana C. Dana Do.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones.
I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Manock's door.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets a name from us, it's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry.
We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Living with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
Have a heck of a time with Rebecca.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
She's VVIP, it's Amanda V.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's got a leg up. It's Beth Ani.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish. It's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron.
She's a whiz. It's Liz Sarthy.
Always killing it. It's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Put on a kettle for Rebecca Weddle.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.